Welcome to the 100th episode of That's Absurd, Please Elaborate, a podcast where we answer all your wacky questions. I'm Trace Dominguez, and I'm Julian Huguet. And we're here with special guest Sophie Strand.
Hi, I'm Sophie Strand. I'm so peppy and cool and smart, and I have all these awards on my shelves, and I'm cool.
Thanks.
And I'm here with my friend, Julian Huguet.
Oh, but she's Julian. There's no character left for me. This is already falling apart.
It's an opportunity to be whoever you want.
Sophie's sticking really tight to that script. Sophie is not going to say anything off script at all. She's a consummate professional.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Listen, if I had a script, I'd stick to it.
Throwing us under the bus there.
What it really meant is that you trusted me. You said,
I wish we had a script.
You said, intro the show. And I said, okay.
You did a great job.
Well, thank you.
You did a great job.
Should we explain, in case this is the first episode somebody's listening to, what's going on specifically with this episode?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we had a 100th episode. It was our last episode. But there was too much episode. So this is also the 100th episode.
Right.
Don't think too much about it.
I mean, you can if you want, but we didn't, clearly. So let's just...
I told you 10 questions was too many.
Look, I heard you, but we went for it anyway. And Sophie Strand is our host MC for our 100th episode and has agreed to do it again because we are ridiculous.
2-part commitment. Thanks, Sophie.
Oh, I love a season 2. Love a sequel. Love a part 2. This was so fun the first time. So I am going to be harder on you this time because we need to keep things efficient. I've been told by the producers of this show, Trace Dominguez and Julian Huguet.
It was a little too loosey-goosey last time. Yeah.
They said they love your work. They're huge fans. They love what you do. They just need you to keep it moving.
Sophie, since everybody's listened to the show 100 times, maybe they remember that you were actually our very first guest, and I just wanted to spend a minute and reminisce about it. So can you reminisce about it for exactly 1 minute and no longer?
Oh, just me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You personally.
I can.
Just wax poetic a little bit. I've got the timer running.
Oh, can we get a little chime sound of
You've used 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been 10 seconds.
I was honored to be your very first guest and then come back again for another guest appearance, radio podcast appearance. This is going very well. But it was such a blast. And I just, from the moment you first told me about it, I thought, what a fun idea to ask each other questions and then really dive into the answers. And I love that that is now expanded into this whole community of people across the world who are asking questions and thinking deeply about the answers. It's pure delight and philosophy and connection. And gosh darn, don't we need more of that in this world?
10 more seconds.
Yeah, you still have 14 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds.
Oh, hey,
5,
don't do in 60 what you can do in 45.
3,
okay.
2, and time. Beep, 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 all right, perfect. Good reminiscing. Reminiscing portion over.
Reminiscing minute. Done.
Cross it off the agenda.
Well, before we dive into our first question, I do have a surprise for you both.
What?
What?
That does require another timer.
Oh.
Okay, I'm ready. I've got it open already.
Perfect. This is so efficient. So, in honor of your 100th episode, and this, your 100th episode, I thought I would give myself a challenge. And if you'd like to participate in this challenge, there's time, as you'll see. Because I don't think I'm going to succeed in this challenge.
How many marbles do I need to fit in my mouth? Is that...
You're not far off.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yes. My thought was, how many of your episode titles can I say in 100 seconds? Can I get through all 100 episode titles that you have done?
Impossible.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are quite long.
Yeah.
We're not particularly SEO friendly.
I know. I did realize that when I asked you for this list, Trace, and I thought, right, this is titles. Anyway, I think it's gonna go great.
It's gonna be great. I love it.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay, here we go. I'm
Okay.
gonna 1 minute and 40 seconds. Thank you, base 60. Here we go.
Okay.
Go.
The very first episode, How the Speed of Sound Could Destroy Everything. An empathetic, naked mole person featuring me. That was our first guess. Truth or Down. Scores of mutual nightmares. A missing moon. But is it pointy? Sisters who share a brain. Universally bricked. Rump-shaking dyslexic shrimp. Digitally gifted babies. Parmesan apocalypse. Lifting Earth's orbit to stop global warming. Exhaling backwards. A carnivorous horse and headless human. So, why do we have lawns?
Classic.
Eat a variety of colorful humans. Ex machina to toilet paper. Legumes, fruits, and ticklish mooses. A throwback. What is the UN pointiest thing? Maybe what's the unpointiest thing? That's what it is.
It's unpointed. What is the UN?
You're throwing her off.
That was 21. Okay, 21.
Keep going.
But will aliens actually comprehend on your left? Oh no! Did you time travel with a chicken? 23. Real weird things about the human body that need fixing. Ahem, no, x-rays will not cook soup. The bonkers reason ice is not slippery. Oh no, it scrolled. Ew, potatoes? An endless eclipse and pineapple-based crimes. It's a fart rocket breakthrough. Time to hypersleep to Jupiter. That's one episode. That's 28. Episode 29. What if people reproduce like plants? Making peace with squirrels, waging war with crabs. The Absurdiversary Lightning Round Spectacular!
Wow, that was the last time we did a lightning round.
Hey! Could we colonize a gas giant? What if we were vampires? A whole new world, an old pair of jeans.
That's it.
Is that the timer?
Timer's up.
Okay, so that was
29.
episode 33 we got to.
Oh, 33. Oh, my count's
That was
off, then.
episode 33.
Wow. A third. So you did 100 seconds and you did a third of them. That's pretty good.
Yeah!
If you were going to ask if those evoked some wonderful memories, they did. And also, I didn't realize how long it's been. It's funny because the titles are so meaningless if you just hear them, but like remembering that they're all puns on the topics of the episodes or our attempts at jokes, like helps me remember what we talked about. I'm like, wow, we covered some really good, fun, weird stuff.
We sure have. What a weird show we have here. This is such a weird show. If this is the first time you've listened, I'm sorry. Genuinely.
You're 10 minutes in already. You're unshakable if you made it this far for the first time.
I'm not sorry, because here's the thing. If you're tuning in for the first time, we just gave you a great reason to go back to episode 1 and start from the beginning.
True.
Because you get to see there's just so many topics that these two fine fellows have covered since they began in 2023. We've only gotten through 33 of them on that list, so there's way more that I'm going to try my best to get through in a later moment. So those brought back some good memories.
Yeah. Fart rockets and pineapple digestion of human bodies and, just all sorts of really good stuff.
We talked about naked mole people for a long time. You had a big impact on definitely the early callbacks of the show, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, it came up a lot since then.
Wow. I'm honored.
Thanks for being an early cornerstone of the project.
My pleasure. I still think about naked mole rats a lot. From that, it ripples out. The ripple effect.
I'm just Googling naked mole rats all the time.
Yeah, this show really messed with my Google search. I had to search for this episode in incognito window just in case.
You're still on a list. That's
Can never
fine.
be too
That's
careful.
That's how we live
Yeah,
these days.
Googling how ice might kill you? Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a list.
Yeah, you're on a list.
Sorry.
I was really glad to be incognito for that, but yeah, probably still on a list.
So who's first to this episode?
That would be me.
Oh.
I have a question from Saff. Saff asks, why glass is thick and contact lenses not thick?
Great.
Yeah. Listen,
Good question.
I have worn both. I hadn't really considered it. So I looked into it. Saff, also a fellow bifocal, but like two different types of lenses wearer. Saff says, I recently got contact lenses for the first time, and it made me wonder, how are these small pieces of plastic so thin, but they do the exact same job as my very bulky glasses? I have minus 4.25 strength glasses. Why can we not harness this technology into making prescription glasses that are actually thin and look nice? I want to say, Saff, by the way, you are my anti-vision compatriot. I'm plus 4.25.
Oh, wow. You guys are twins.
Yeah, we're
Twinsies.
yin and yang,
I like it.
Fit together. If you combine our glasses, it doesn't do
With
anything.
your glasses combined, I am. Well, I guess you'd be just regular 2020.
Yeah.
Right
in the middle.
So, it's the 100th and a half episode now.
It's so easy to say. We probably could have planned this better.
It's the closest I might ever get to being Bilbo Bagginsy and getting to say 111th birthday, so I'm really pleased.
Aww.
Oh.
So, first, why do I need glasses?
Why do you?
Why, gosh, why? Am I the only glasses wearer here? Do Sophie, Trace, do you wear any sort of corrective lenses?
Contacts, baby.
Contacts.
I don't need them to see the screen, but I wear them all the time. But I take them off when I'm looking at something close up because I don't want to make my eyes worse. Is that a thing? I worry about it.
Sophie, what's your script?
I'm a -2.5 and -2.25. And fun fact, every eye doctor I've ever seen has told me never to get laser surgery for it because my eyes are like the perfect amount of nearsighted to even out as I age. And so in theory, I know, in theory, I will not need reading glasses until much later because the eye shape changes. And that, yeah. So I'm a little nearsighted girly.
Aren't you special?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a thing because I am -1.5 and -2.
You might be in the same perfect range then.
Kind of in that range. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like my eyes just got more amazing. Didn't realize it. Thanks for telling me that. That was great.
So you both have myopia, which is also known as nearsightedness.
Hey.
Okay, that doesn't sound as cool as what I just said, but fine.
It's not as cool at all.
No.
It's not the same as short-sightedness, though. It's just nearsighted. You see things nearer better than you see things far away. And this is a result of your cornea and your lens bending the light so the place where it focuses inside your eye, the little point that the light actually all comes together, is in front of the retina. And then it spreads out again when it hits the retina, and that's why it's a little blurry. Now, contrast this with what I have, which is hyperopia, or farsightedness. This is where the cornea and the lens doesn't bend the light as much, so if it could focus, through my eye, it would focus at a point slightly behind my retina, and that's also not good. And so you need lenses that bend light to correct this and actually focus the light on the back of your eyeball, right?
Right.
So, and they work because light, when it travels through a medium, changes speed. And depending on the medium, it'll slow down more or less. So glasses can be made of all sorts of different materials. And if they have what's called a higher refractive index, that means they bend the light more. That means the lenses can be thinner. Contact lenses can also be thicker or thinner depending on the type of material. Sophie, do you wear soft or hards?
Oh, soft. Ugh.
Wow,
yeah,
that's a
hard
very
lens?
personal question. You just asking people.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Hey, Sophie,
Wow.
soft or hard? What do you prefer?
My eyes soft.
On your eyes. Yeah. Soft.
In
Yeah,
my tacos,
The idea of a
hard.
hard contact actually really freaks me out because it just sounds like glass. Just glass on my eye.
Yes.
Sounds scary.
Have you ever seen them? Like what they look
No.
like by comparison to the soft contact lenses? So I've worn both.
Really?
Soft contact lenses are much bigger in diameter than hard ones. You'd be surprised. Hard ones are little teeny tiny things. I'd estimate like half the diameter of soft ones, maybe even less than that. Yeah.
Cool.
Really?
And that's because soft ones, the part that sits in front of your pupil when it's fully dilated, when it's dark, that's the actual lens, and then the outer part of it helps it sit on your eyeball and rest on your eye. Now, there's more to your prescription than just the diopter, which is the number with +4 or -4, right? That's measured in diopters. That corrects for the curvature of your cornea being either too shallow or too steep, but your cornea might not be a consistent curvature across it, and when it's not, that's called astigmatism. So I have astigmatism in both eyes. So my cornea is misshapen in each in weird ways.
Good job.
So yes. So when that happens, to correct for that, there has to be, some correction applied to it, and it has to be on the right axis to actually, stay aligned with how your cornea is misshapen. And for that reason, for me, soft lenses are not as good because it's easier for the lens to rotate on my eye when I like blink, and then it's a little blurry, and then it has to rotate back. They're weighted, so they'll go back to the proper orientation.
What?
And hard contact lenses are a little bit better at staying in that position, even though they feel a little weird and uncomfortable when you're getting used to wearing them. So that's fun to know.
Can you feel a glass contact? Like, I imagine it just being like, all the time.
Sophie is like working out all of her anxieties about hard contacts right now, and I'm here for it. Yeah.
I found an expert here. I need to ask my questions.
There is like an adjustment period for sure where you're just like blinking a lot because you're so unfamiliar with the feeling of them being on there. And then after wearing them consistently for a while, it just might as well be a soft contact lenses. You really
like
don't
braces.
notice it anymore. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That said, I choose not to wear them because I am lazy and I like just getting up and putting on glasses and going about my day. And also, sometimes I stay up really, really late and I don't like that they dry out and they dry out my eye and they get really irritable and that you can't just go to bed with them on. So there's pros and cons to glasses and contacts respectively. Now, why glasses thick though? To really get to Saff's question. A large part of it has to do with how far glasses sit away from your eye. So on average, glasses, they're about 12 millimeters from your eye sitting out on your nose. And all the sources I found compare it to like looking out of a window, right? So if you're right up against the window, which would be like the contact lens in our analogy, you can look all over the place. You can see out of it, in every direction. If you stand several feet back from the window, your view is much narrower through it.
Yeah.
So standing farther back is like the glasses being farther away from your face. So if you want that same field of view, you have to have a much bigger area. But if you have a much bigger area and all of it has to be usable to actually bend the light correctly to your eye, your lens gets a lot thicker.
That makes sense.
Versus if it's just that little few millimeters sitting right in front of your pupil, then it doesn't have to be as thick. And then it just moves around with your eye, but it's covering that entire area that your eye can already let light in through. So it doesn't have to be as thick.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, one important consideration, though, that I don't think Saff might have had is at a certain point, if your glasses lens are too thin, it's a safety issue.
Oh, because they can break?
Yes. They can shatter, they can break.
I'm sorry. Unlike a hard contact, which is a small piece of glass that sits directly on your eyeball.
I feel like first we're being a bit too simplistic when we just call it glass, right?
Is it?
It's more complex material than that. They'll call them, actually, there's a little acronym for it. They're gas-permeable lenses because they have to still let your eyeball breathe.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as just like a piece of glass you stuck in your eye. It's like a hard little thing, but it's not going to like shatter like glass, as far as I know, at least,
But also, we've done episodes about it where, like, if you could, what is it, the smallest thing you could knock out with a punch? We did, and it's like way harder to break things that are very small.
Yes, that's also true.
The way the force works with stuff that's tiny, so you're probably not going to break something that small. And if you do, the eyeball is probably you're probably not worried so much about the contact lens. There's something much more important that you're worried about, a little more apparent. No
I do
intended.
tell myself this every morning as a small person, that I am harder to break. But
yeah, I'm not small.
Yeah.
I'm durable.
Really, I'm durable and hardy.
That's what you do. That's your self-affirmations in the morning. You're in the mirror and you're like, I am durable. I am scratch resistant.
I work in entertainment, so like, yeah, I do. I mean, I'm small and I'm harder to smash. I will not be shattered by this place.
If it puts your mind at ease, gas-permeable lenses are made with plastics and other materials like silicone, fluoropolymers, which are plastics with the addition of fluorine, that sort of thing. So it's not like Coke bottle glass, it's just, or like window pane glass on you. It's stuff that like people who realized you're putting something in your eye have thought about and been like, how do we make this, safer? If that's also a consideration for glasses, clearly they think about this sort of thing too for contact lenses. So glasses have to be at a minimum 1 millimeter thick so they don't shatter or crack or break too easily since they're right in front of your eyeball. Whereas contact lenses, because of all these different factors, can be as little as 0.1 millimeter thick. So a tenth as thick as the thinnest glasses.
Wow, that's so thin.
Yeah. And that's why you can have it resting on your cornea. It'll be a little weird, but it'll work.
I'm so glad we talked about this. I feel like my misconceptions were really addressed, and I want to thank you for that.
Could you call them misperceptions?
Or would you call it a miscorneaception? I couldn't get through it.
Boo.
Honestly, sure, yeah. You can, if that's what you want to call them, you can call them that. I don't know if I would, but you can if you want to.
That makes so much sense. I'm glad. And I don't mean to yuck anyone's yum. I really feel like suddenly I got negative about the hard contact things. They just scare me. Now I'm not as scared. I feel knowledge is power. Ugh.
Wait, speaking of yucking people's yums, I think that's a great segue into our next question. Nicely done, MC.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. What's our next question, Trace?
Our next question is from Ellen, who asks, would eating lab-grown meat be considered cannibalism?
We're getting into a cannibal queue.
Great question. Does it count?
Yeah, does it count? Their follow-up question is, would you? So you can think about it while I talk a little bit about cannibalism. So cannibalism has a long history with us as a species and other species. In fact, it's commonly done in the animal kingdom. Insects, fish, birds, and mammals all have species that practice cannibalism. The one that I love to point out is the polar bear.
No.
Oh.
There are polar bears who, when they are hungry, will just kill and eat other polar bears. And because they are whitish, it is, wow, a
Gruesome.
lot. Yes.
Don't we already not have enough polar bears?
I mean,
But anyway.
how graphic a picture do you want to see?
Medium?
Medium or low?
Low, please.
Okay, here's the low one. And I'll put the medium one in here as well. Julian, since you seem the most squeamish, can you please click on this and tell everyone about it?
Oh, it's a BBC News article with the headline, Polar Bear, quote, cannibalism picture. And it's a big polar bear with a polar bear carcass and what looks like strawberry jam rubbed on its head.
Yeah, it's just strawberry jam, Julian.
Just some
it's
strawberry
just a bunch
jam.
of strawberry jam. Super cute. Super duper cute. If you want a little more excitement, you can click on the second link.
Why is cannibalism in quotes in the headline? I don't understand. It's definitely, I feel like that meets the definition.
I just clicked on the second one.
Link. I
clicked on the second one. I clicked on the second one too.
It's not even a full polar bear. It's like a piece of a polar bear getting dragged away. There's a lot of strawberry jam on that
one's
one.
got a lot of jam. And then if you really want to see, you can click on the third link.
No,
which is a little.
And I clicked on it. I couldn't help. I have bad impulse control. You can tell that's a head. That's a head. That's a head. Oh, it's holding a head. That's a head. Oh,
Don't
no.
scroll. Don't scroll.
I'm not gonna scroll. I'm not gonna scroll. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. That's definitely the head. It's like a full spinal column, and then some sort of organ attached there at the very end.
Polar bears are cannibals. They do this because it's hard to find food in the Arctic, so they just do what they can.
Oh
and
my God.
this is easier than moving, I guess.
Yeah, and it's easier to just eat another polar bear than to sometimes find a slick little seal who just wants to, whoosh, 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 so just eat Jerry.
And these are cubs too. That's really interesting.
Yeah, they do eat, let's say polar bears they know. So ancient humans also eat other humans, hominins, really. Homo antecessor in the Journal of Human Evolution, 2019. That was about 900,000 years ago. Probably caught and ate other hominins for prey. Neanderthals also probably did this, and there's not a lot of evidence because there's not a lot of evidence in the fossil record of ancient humans just generally. But you can see tools that the Neanderthals made out of the prey of the Neanderthal, which included human bones. So really fun. Non-ancient peoples that have practiced cannibalism, the Aztec, the Jijimes, people of Papua New Guinea, the Wari of Brazil. There's a cult in India, the Agori cult, which is an occult of extremists that also practiced cannibalism. And even Europeans who like to think of themselves often above not. They were using blood as medical consumption for health reasons, and they would collect it from executions with little cups, and they would just go stand up there and be like, hey, can I buy some of this blood? Because I'm feeling kind of, down. So they would do that. Not awesome stuff. And we feel weird about cannibalism. I feel like you feel weird about it based on looking at your faces and how you've both gotten real quiet.
I was really thinking a lot.
I'm generally against it because if it were me versus another like human, I know in the polar bear photo, I know which one I would probably be, you know?
You'd be the face one. The one with jam on it, but not voluntarily.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty jammy, like knowing me and my kung fu abilities.
Yeah.
And so I'm like kind of against encouraging it, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
I think the interesting thing about evolution...
The one interesting thing.
As a callback from episode 100, part 1, if you were listening, is it makes sense that we would be abhorred by the idea of eating generally our own species because it goes against our survival. It goes against wanting to preserve ourselves as a species.
Right.
Yeah. There are, of course, famous human cannibals as well. You know, in modern history, even serial killers and all sorts of so we usually associate it with not super stable. You don't just go to the grocery store and be like, well, I'm going to pick up some broccoli and a little bit of human.
Can you pick me up a quarter pound of Jerry? Right.
It's like desperate measures. And it is also kind of one of the more ultimate taboos. So, Sophie, I know that you do not consume meat, but I had this friend who I was talking to and she had some opinions. So let's play her clip.
Here's the question. Would eating lab-grown human meat be considered cannibalism?
Ew.
Yeah?
And for those who don't recognize this voice, it's Simone Yetch, who has a great YouTube channel. She makes things. She's awesome. I love her so much. And you can't see it, but her dog Scraps is there, which is great. Love that Scraps showed up. There was a squirrel outside the window, so Scraps eventually leaves. But yeah, she's vegan. And so she had some really, I thought, interesting thoughts. I mean, I feel like you, but I don't know. You're the guest. What do you think? Do you think it's...
There's some people I would eat. I mean, I've thought about this question a fair amount from another perspective because I'm vegan or majority vegan, plant-based. I cheat a lot. But I've been and I feel like there are different ways to approach that question of would lab-grown meat be vegetarian or vegan? And for me, who is mostly eating vegan for ethical reasons, where I'm I just don't want to support the meat industry.
Yeah.
Then I think, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm oh, don't put meat in my body. It's just no, don't put meat in my body that you took from an unwilling participant.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool thought because, and for those that don't know what lab-grown meat is, Julian, explain it.
So you got a lab, right? And you make meat in it. You take the pre-meat and you water it, I guess, and then
the meat seeds.
Grows.
You take the meat seeds.
Yeah, you take the meat seeds, you plant it. No,
give it sunshine and love.
It's this really complicated technique that's been on the horizon for decades and decades now. But basically, you take cells and you try and culture them to grow more muscle cells. And the big issues with it is it doesn't grow in the same structures that it would in an animal. And so it doesn't have the right texture. And so it's kind of off-putting. And it's also very expensive to do per unit of meat. Compared to the traditional farming methods. So there's still a lot of barriers to it. But in terms of have your cake and eat it too kind of promise technology, it's one of the big ones, especially I know we've brought up climate change before, how to reduce the impact of factory farming on climate change. Lab-grown meat has been one way of saying hey, you don't have to change your lifestyles a lot, but you can still have your meat. And it'll be better for the planet, is the promise of it.
Yeah.
And I think there's also the idea that it will get cheaper, like any technology that's new.
Yes.
And so they're still experimenting. And then with scalability, economy of scale should be eventually the idea is that it would be less expensive than traditional
growing a cow,
concentrated animal feeding operations. Yeah, like major industrial farming, because that takes up so much space and so many resources. So much water, so much crop land, all of that. So yeah, it is very interesting. There's a company that is making it for animal food for dog food already in the UK.
Oh, that's cool.
That's neat. I mean, makes sense. So do you, and I'm asking you this, I know on the spot, but like as a vegan, would you think of a meat product like this would it be in the same category? I'm not going to ask you if you would eat it. I think that's weird. Would you think of it in the same category as regular meat, or is it somehow different?
I have thought about this a lot too. It is both the same and different because it does come from an animal cell line. So if it comes from a chicken cell, that is the same cell of a chicken, right? But Simone's point of it being who is participating in it, taking one chicken cell from a piece of muscle tissue does not require killing an animal. And then you can just make infinite chicken meat out of one cell, theoretically, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
That does sound like a different thing. So structurally, texture notwithstanding, and what Julian's point about like the muscle structure and how it's actually shaped, which, let's imagine a future where we get to that point where we can actually replicate organs through this kind of growth, which is being used for medical research as well. It's not just for food. Like we're looking at replicating heart blood vessels and all that stuff. So it's technically the same. The cells are the same type of cell, but it is also different. So it's a really fascinating moment. It is, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. We immediately went off the rails.
But eating, oh my God, what if you could eat celebrities?
like George
I love her.
Clooney.
Yes.
Like Chris Pratt.
Crisp Chris Pratt.
Got a bunch of his cells and you made a lab grown a Pratt fillet.
A cameo.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's a George Clooney burger.
Oh wow, the Clooney cut. I mean,
the Clooney cut. That's better.
That's what it would be.
We could. I mean, this is honestly, maybe we spin out of business from this.
This is $1 million idea.
This is fantastic.
First of all, love. I think that having crisp Chris Pratt, there's some potential there.
Crisp Pratt.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I am now going through a list of celebrity names
that you would eat
to try and see if there are more puns available here for them. I've found a list of of celebrities that have been guest stars on The Simpsons, because that was the first thing that popped up on Google.
The Shrimpsons.
And I think, Shrimpsons. Juicy Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. Spoonable Reese Witherspoon.
Wow.
It's like, that's jammy. Yeah,
I don't know if I even like that. That's jammy for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tom Shanks.
Okay.
Nice.
So then I was like, okay, well, look, let's say you consented to being eaten. Is that even a thing that you can do? Legally speaking, you can't. So I wanted to talk about this outside of the two of us talking. So is cannibalism illegal?
Yes.
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 Please
not.
Say yes.
What?
It's
Wait,
not.
no.
It's actually not. It's actually not illegal.
In the States or like everywhere?
So Ellen is asking, would lab-grown human meat be considered cannibalism? I think that's a really interesting philosophical question. Cannibalism is not an illegal practice. You could eat a person, except the laws say, and I looked up the Cornell Law blog, basically. They use an Oklahoma law as an example, but they say basically all 50 states have some version of this law. And it says you cannot desecrate, dismember, disfigure, mutilate a corpse. It cannot be devoured, scattered, dissipated, or burned without a licensed state actor, like a coroner or a doctor or a funeral home. They're allowed to burn a body, but you're not allowed to at home. That is illegal. It does say devouring is illegal. However,
without permission,
it is specifically of a corpse. So if, for example, Julian volunteered his leg to a group of people, and that has been done. There's a German man.
Oh,
German!
I think I know this story.
Yes.
The guy who found another guy basically on whatever German Craigslist is?
Yes.
Oh, I think I've heard of this too.
Yes. And if you're listening with small ones, just so you know, you might want to skip ahead like 2 minutes. Okay, did you fast forward? Are we good? You going to fast forward? Are we good? Okay. Are you going to fast forward? Last chance. They ate his penis, and together,
you gotta give him a little
them,
more time to skip before going straight into they ate his penis. You can't just be like, you might want to skip. Anyway, he gobbled that up. Like, you can't.
Oh my God, I wasn't ready, and I was staying in the room.
Jesus.
Ay, ay, ay. Oy vey. Ah. Okay.
we told him to fast forward 2 minutes, so we have to get
0
back.
to 60.
So they shared his penis. Actually, it says they attempted to share. And then, he killed him and he ate him.
Attempted? What? There wasn't enough
I
of
don't
it?
know. I feel like they probably, maybe he backed out, but it was too late. They'd already cut it off. And, now it's like, what are you going to do? You came here to kill me and eat me. So he killed him and he ate him for the next 10 months and kept his body in his freezer in the basement under a bunch of pizza boxes. And he said, it tasted good. There's also a model, an Egyptian model, who killed her husband and ate him and cooked the ribs and said that they were good. So, it's gross, and I don't like it.
Isn't there like an IT Crowd episode making fun of this incident?
Of Armin?
Of like a German cannibal?
Yes,
wait,
he's a German.
Hold on.
He's a German computer technician.
His name is Armin?
Yep.
That's it.
Are you serious?
I literally just got it. Yes. His name is Armin.
I can't.
Yeah.
There's an IT Crowd episode, Moss and the German.
Okay, I think it's been 2 minutes, so let's go back.
I was going to ask about consent, because you said if they're not dead, then it's not illegal. So, but that doesn't actually tell us whether there's permission involved.
Right. So cannibalism is the consumption of another human body matter, whether consensual or not, right? I'm eating it whether you tell me I can or not.
Right.
But the law doesn't explicitly prohibit cannibalism, and it doesn't say cannibalism anywhere in laws. But what it does say is you can't devour, scatter, dissipate, burn, etc.
Right.
But you cannot consent even after your death to then be eaten. So you can't say, upon my death, I donate my body to the Julian Huguet Cannibalism Fund to feed young Julians, and it's just like you can't do that. They will be like, no, that's not that's not happening. However, and again, I want to emphasize we did go off the rails.
Can't do that post death, but if I had, for example, a brain tumor removed,
sure,
could somebody legally eat that? Or if
placenta,
what?
Placenta.
Yeah.
That's technically cannibalism. Kinda. It's human parts.
You can't eat the baby sack?
Sorry,
that's a callback to our episode with Allie Matu. Going way back.
Is it cannibalism?
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, but then we're like, biting nails and stuff. Is that also cannibalism?
Right.
Like, okay, what if after like a liposuction and you're like, lard?
I want to use that.
I want to use that to cook with. Let's fry some French fries.
I mean, I guess you could.
Very disgusting.
It sounds not great. Just as an idea, like the more I've been reading about it, the more I feel exactly as you look now, which is I'm a little bit like,
yeah, you're making Simone wretch.
Yeah.
Nice.
She really did it to herself.
But like, okay, so is the law technically ish? It seems murky, but also is it as long as the person's alive, then that should be fine.
When I think of lab-grown meat be considered cannibalism, I think yes, it would be considered cannibalism. You're consuming the flesh of your own species, basically.
Okay, but then it seems like under the current law, it would be that if the person whose cell started this batch of lab-grown meat is dead, then
Interesting.
But if they're still alive, Chris Pratt, then have at it.
If you want to go have Ruth's Chris, which gives it a whole new meaning, a platter.
Yeah.
Then you could. As long as Chris gave consent, gave some human meat cells, and then they grew them in a lab, then the ethical consideration is he's voluntarily giving you his fully developed veal. I mean, I still not interested personally, but I guess It would be cannibalism, but it might also be legal because the laws don't say you can't eat human flesh. They say you can't eat a corpse. I don't know if I feel good about that answer, but
Yeah, maybe it's like I don't want to see humans as edible things.
yeah, that's how I kind of
And
feel.
I don't want to open up this, what if you love it? But also like what if you love it and you have a lab grown meat factory down the street and you could just get that fix ethically.
Well, I'm not here to answer that question. Ellen only asked, would it be considered cannibalism? So I guess yes.
You know who would do that? Rich weirdos with their blimps as they fly along. The main course on the transatlantic blimp ride would definitely be like human flesh. A rare delicacy only available in international airspace.
Definitely.
That's right. Yeah. Non-taxable human meat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your laws don't apply to me up here over the ocean.
Over the ocean. I regret to inform you they do.
Duty-free shop.
Duty to humanity free.
Nice. That's right.
Yeah.
Get your whiskey, get your thigh bones.
Amazing, right?
That's really interesting.
It is a strange question. I think the answer ultimately, Ellen, is would it be considered cannibalism? It would depend who you ask. However, strictly speaking, yes. Is it illegal? Strictly speaking, no. So if you want to start a multi-million-dollar business, find a celebrity, get some lab-grown meat going, and serve yourself some Julia Roberts steaks or some Sydney swine fillets or something. Ew, that sounds
Ruth
way
Bader
worse.
Ginsburg, Chris Pratt.
I don't.
combo.
She's dead. I don't think you can.
Oh yeah, that's illegal. That's crossing the line now.
Yeah, cross the line, buddy. That's too much, too far. But I did. I'm gonna put this in the chat, and I'm just gonna. So Sophie, you and I are gonna sing a song.
Yes.
It's funny that earlier we were talking about Kermit the Frog. Because, I don't know if you know this, but the Muppets covered the Fine Young Cannibals' She Drives Me Crazy. So I rewrote some of the lyrics. Anyway, let's just give you a second to read it and in the chat. And then we'll just, we're just going to go for it. We're just going to see.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
We're just going to see how this goes. Okay, here you go. Go ahead.
I can't stop the way I feel. The cells you grow don't seem real. The clock is ticking.
You're going a bit fast, but you should. Sheesh.
Oh, tell me what you've got in mind. 'Cause there's pigs running out of lab time. Treat them right, and they'll grow hard. And when they're ready, we will dine.
She grows human meat. It's technically someone else. She grows human meat, and I can't help myself.
Great Kermit singing about Miss Piggy growing human meat for cannibalism. But you know what? Honestly, it's only fair. We've been eating pigs for so long. We should be grateful that she's growing lab-grown meat. Also, Trace,
meat.
This was a truly insane idea to do karaoke on the fly on a podcast. I want to commend you for just how bad an idea that was.
It was really terrible.
Really outdone yourself.
Thank you.
I think nobody listening enjoyed any of that at all. And, kudos for that.
Let's take a break then. I think we all need a break. A tight ad break. And then we'll come back and so we can read some more titles.
And work on my Kermit impression, because I guess I'm the only one who can't do one.
Well, when you get back, you can try it.
You shower too often, but can never helicopter enough. Metaphorically heavy fog juice. Mistaken artifacts, tiny tasty treats, and war. Seriously, what is it good for? DNDP and chickpea TNT. Reach for the neutron stargate. Filthy witches and body blimps. It's like rocket science, but dumber. Either you eye a cane or you 1-0 can't.
Oh, one of the best.
Hey.
Hiccuping chickens and wheeled wildlife. Featured me. Oh yeah, I was in that one. Whoa.
There you go.
Radioactive bunnies and infinite-sided dice. photosynthetic nudists, and solving problems with copious amounts of seawater.
Faster, Sophie,
2
faster.
butts, no bones, thriving. Okay, right. Volcanoes, tornadoes, nuclear waste. This is fine. Explode in 3 ways. Yikes. Freaky mermaids, real dragons, and Trace's evil twin.
Oh, it's the longest episode.
Deep conversations with whales. The poor goalie is everywhere. Is lava wet? The creative engineering of Star Wars blasters. A ghostly fireworky glow-up. The inescapable sadness of the Kool-Aid Man. Immortal squirrels slain by salad.
30 seconds.
Double jump over this human meatball. Snailzilla's disrupting the tooth commodity market. We ship acid-spitting humans. Surviving urban volcanoes through cuteness and butt hearing. Frictionless ultrasonic banger. Ally Matu and the Missing Moon. That's Thanksgiving.
Rerun.
Okay. Poke the moon and land amongst the clocks. High-level poop talk and deadly temporal fantasies. Hot DNA. Oh no, our chicken is cooked. Inexplicable Spider-Man episode.
You're on pace.
Wow, you made it really far. Inexplicable Spider-Man episode. What number are you on?
65.
Wow. Yeah. One shorter that time than the last time, but you only have to do another 34 and we're there.
There was a rerun in there. I don't think, I think that still counts in her favor.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this.
There's multiple reruns coming up.
Oh, I'm in for a trip. Yeah. It's going to trip me up, actually,
all right.
In the lineup. All right. Does that mean we're back?
I think so.
All right. We are back, and we are talking more body stuff with Trace. That's our new show.
We're not eating anything this time, I promise. This time it's...
but I'm so hungry.
So much better. Basically, this is going to be a big reprieve because this question was not voted on by the patrons. However, it comes from Yusuke, who asks, is there a universal geographic coordinate system for the human body? And if so, where is the prime meridian located? Ooh. Is it even necessary to assign a name to every square centimeter of the body? They go on to elaborate that they engage in heated discussions about the nomenclature of specific areas or points on the human body. And to be honest, Yusuke, where are you? You should be a guest on this podcast because that sounds great.
Yeah. That's so cool.
They are not a doctor. They were just curious to know. And apparently they argue with their friends about whether they have pain in their lower neck or upper back.
Huh.
So I think kind of to our point earlier, our butts, legs? I don't know.
Right. Our legs, butts, and butts, legs. So what?
Top of leg, lower butt.
So what'd you find out?
I thought I can see the problem here because when you look at the human body, every human body is different. And I do think it actually has a callback a little bit to Julian's incredible episode about telling an alien what left means. Because so since every body is so different, imagine you're a doctor. You've seen something in Sophie's body somewhere, and now you have to tell another doctor where it is exactly.
Yeah.
In a 3-dimensional space. So you have to tell them where on the body it is and then how far into the body it is. And things move, when you're in a different position, parts of your body are in different places. And so it can't just be 3 inches or 2 centimeters below this unless you have a static point, and you can't base it on freckles or where a nipple is located or where an arm joint is because all of the lengths are different. And so it is wild to think about, and I'm surprised I'd never thought about it before. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I called somebody who did. So just in case you don't know who this is, it's Patrick Kelly. He has a YouTube channel all about anatomy.
Wow.
And I thought, who better to nerd out about anatomy than Patrick?
Yeah.
This is a great question that I honestly had no idea how to answer when we first started taking a look at the questions. The high-level answer is no, something like that does not exist for the entirety of the human body, but people have tried to implement different systems. Shall we go over them?
Also, he's a teacher, and you can tell by the way he talks, because he's just like, shall we go over them? And I'm
yes,
like, of course we should, please.
Okay, so this might be something to put into the show notes, but I found a paper published in Cell in 2019 titled Toward a Common Coordinate Framework for the Human Body. And high level, this paper outlines how there is no system. Here are some of the challenges that we face in making such a system and what we might do in the meantime. You could try to map something with great complexity, like a macro level human body. We have an existing system for that that's called gross anatomy, studying things like the spleen is usually here, the heart is usually here, pointed in this direction, 10 fingers, 10 toes, that kind of a thing. And so for gross complicated anatomy, we tend to have to use more relativistic terms as opposed to something that could be like universally mapped onto everything. And that's where we get different planes of the body. So like the frontal, sagittal, coronal planes that divide the body up into different ways. So you could imagine dividing yourself straight down the middle so that you have a left and a right side. You could imagine slicing it this way so that you have a front and a back, and then a top and a bottom.
And when he went zzz, it made me think of the cannibal answer, but he was going like from the top of his head down in front of his ear. And then when he was showing the first way, when he said this way, he meant like if you drew a line up and down from like your forehead to your chin. And so I personally wanted to stop there and be like, I think that's the prime meridian of the human body. When someone says, what's the prime meridian? I think top of your head through the middle of your trunk, like I don't know, like you're getting sawed in half.
So you think right and left.
But like vertical. Hot dog style, like a hot dog.
Hot dog style, yeah.
Hot dog style, but not hamburger style. So not like front to back, you're saying.
Yeah. Right. No.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely hot dog sausage style, where like if the top of your head is one end of the hot dog and the bottom of your feet's the other end, we're slicing end to end to open me up.
I would agree with that because that's the symmetry. Is generally speaking, like the right and the left reflect each other. Symmetry. Bilateral versus the front and the back do not reflect each other.
Yeah, there's like no symmetry at all. And maybe that's why I think of that as the...
I just think it's funny also that this idea is quote unquote gross anatomy. Like they were naming it, and it's whoever was in charge of it was really interested, but they're like, oh, it's gross. Like all these organs everywhere, gross.
Ugh.
Gross. Blech. What's this guy, German?
I'm sure that's, right. That would be gross anatomy.
Gross.
I'm sure.
Gross.
Yeah. I'm
Germany.
Sure they made it not like disgusting, but it's funny that in the modern sense, that's how most people use gross.
So then you have like a 3-dimensional system, and that's interesting. That can give us some ways of talking about where things are relative to others. But then you also have directional terms, right? And this is this thing like, front would have to be like, okay, well, front isn't always front. Like your nose is usually in front of things, but like, I mean, your front teeth are also behind your nose, that kind of a thing. And so we have directional terms based on an anatomic model. If listeners want to do this at home, they can stand up straight, feet forward, palms facing forward, just nice and like a soldier. Hands at your side. Trace is showing me his palms like he's a guilty raccoon right now.
He said hands forward, and I thought...
That's the macro level. But we're more interested in this idea that we could have an atlas of all the cells in the human body, right? Like how many cells are in which place and where do they tend to live? And so for that, we actually need to have something much more complex, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the ideas presented in this, and they presented, I think, like 16 or 17, a couple different proposals. The one that I found the most interesting was, what if we started actually with what kind of cells tend to be where? And that way, when we want to compare not a standardized, but like a reference piece of anatomy, say like a lung, we know that these cells tend to be here, and they match up with somebody else's cells that tend to be over here. So we're not like doing a shape of a lung on top of another lung. Yeah. We're doing these cells tend to be here, and so maybe they're over here for another lung.
Does that make sense? I thought that was really cool. For those who can't see him pointing at his hand, basically imagine there's a clump of cells that everyone has, but they're not always in the same place, but they are always in the same configuration, right? They're always in the same kind of clump. So what he's saying is don't overlay one lung onto another lung. And it's not him saying this, it's in the paper from Cell. It's overlay the clumps. So this clump is always here, and it's here relative to these other cells all throughout this part of the anatomy, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is interesting. Are those clumps these cells that are making that particular structure? So like basically like calling an artery a clump instead of an artery?
I don't think so. I think it would be like even smaller. Like when we think of, I think to his point of gross anatomy, right? Like the spleen as a whole, but he's saying like, no, we even go further into the cells of the spleen, and the cells that maybe excrete something tend to, like everyone has that same set of cells that excrete the same thing, but they're a smaller part of the spleen, and we can say like, oh, from here you look for this or go to that other spot.
I see.
Which is pretty wild. And it only gets weirder.
because I've never done an MRI before, like from a clinical perspective. I don't know if they label it like exactly sagittal scan X or whatever. But you mentioned that like we have different models. There is one coordinate system that I wanted to talk about that's had some more success, and that is for the heart. And I thought at first, like, no, hearts are super complicated shapes. How could we do something that's so complicated on something that does have a lot of anatomic variation, as well as a lot of like, you know, the condition of one's heart can change its anatomy. We can have like different thicknesses of like left ventricles, the little part that like squishes blood to the rest of systemic circulation. And so like, okay, what makes this shape set for coordinate systems? And it's this. You know how with the Earth, big old sphere, the big old ball, and we have like the different degrees around it. So it's basically like circles on top of circles, if that makes any sense. Well, the heart itself, if you look at just the bottom, so just the ventricles, it is kind of like half of a cylinder. It happens to be pointed at the bottom. And so this 2019 paper, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Oh, I'm sorry, 2018 paper by Bayer et al. The whole goal with that one is to show like, could we use latitude, longitude-esque measurements to map onto different aspects of the heart? The difference with that though is like there's depth to the heart. And so they had up and down, side to side, around, and then depth within the walls of the ventricles specifically. What's called transmural measurements. Mural like M-U-R, right?
Oh, neat.
Which I think has a Latin root in wall. If like from inside out. So you're able to give coordinates for like where up and down is it on the ventricles, and then how deep is it within the ventricles. There are some critiques of that. Like I saw a more recent paper that said like, well, we also need to take into account like the septum between the two ventricles. And so there have been different models, but it seems like cardiologists and people who study the heart have some basis for a coordinate system. Again, is that universal? We still have so much more anatomy to cover.
So Patrick says, is there a universal coordinate system? Is there going to be anytime soon? Sorry, Yusuke. Welcome to the internet, pal. That's what we argue about every day.
Is butt legs?
Is butt legs? Is upper lower neck back? Is arm shoulder? Is underarm chest? I don't know.
At least for the heart, right? It sounds like he said there's some use to it. It's had some success in actually being used for defining where things are.
Yeah.
I see that being useful.
There's also like MRIs, and they take slices of the human brain, and those are very specific locations. The thing is, I imagine it doesn't apply across brains, right? Because everybody's brain has different sizes of different parts of brains. And so they can tell on Sophie when they scan her, it's, you know, this slice and it's in this location on this two-dimensional slice. But it doesn't translate to Julian's brain or to Trace's brain.
No, it really is more. I used to run MRI machines. So I ran functional MRI studies. So I was doing those machines, and we really do identify things based on structure, because it isn't really useful to say, go 3 dots in and 4 dots down on the graph or whatever it is, because it's really more like, where is the amygdala? It's generally here. It's generally going to look like this. It's generally going to be about this size. We know what looks abnormal. We know what looks normal range. And that's why there's a range of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's interesting, because it makes me think, and I talked to Patrick a bit about this, but it makes me think of like getting around in real world space. Like, yes, I think it's almost the universal geographic coordinate system is also like, you want a human GPS, right? You want a third party who points a thing at you and gives you numbers for every single location and how your altitude and where exactly you are. The thing is, the Earth, we're all measuring the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, GPS, we're all looking at the same Earth. We're not looking at 50 different Earths and trying to make GPS work for Mars and Venus and Jupiter. They're all completely different. It doesn't work, even though they're all planets. And so it's just like, it is sort of like trying to get around in real life before GPS, where you're just like, okay, you go down the street and then you're going to look for this like blue house. And when you see the blue house, you're going to turn left and you're going to go, I don't know, like a little bit, not too far. And it's like, you can't be too specific. Like,
if you hit the spleen, you've gone too far.
Right.
Don't hit the spleen.
Don't hit the spleen. It's one of the things that makes surgeons so highly specialized and skillful.
Yeah.
Is the ability to translate between body to body to body and communicate that with each other. And it's a very human skill.
Well, that's it for me. I ain't got nothing else about human coordinates.
Wow, that was a great one.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah. Human coordinates. Okay, I would say that's a pretty hot topic. 98.6 degrees, which is also Fahrenheit, which is also an average. That's not exactly what everyone's temperature always is.
37 Celsius.
Yeah.
37 Celsius on the average. You know what else is hot? I think, maybe, I'm about to find out. Thermal paste?
Meet me in this room. I'm getting hot in here. This is a long podcasting session. But yes, Sophie, our listener Shane, who is far and away the most prolific question asker, so it's only fitting that the Patreon would select one of Shane's questions, asked us, would I be cold if I was covered in thermal paste? Sophie, do you know what thermal paste is before I go any farther?
I can guess if you want me to.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Well, I think that a thermal paste would be a paste that heats up.
Yeah.
Like a body warmer, but a paste. Like a toothpaste, but hot. Like a...
Oh, wow. She's just driving in a direction. You have to admit once she's picked a direction, she sprints.
She's
and I'm
committed.
I love that.
Love that.
I can do a hard left turn if you want.
You're half right. You're half right in that it is a paste, but it doesn't warm you up. In fact, the purpose of thermal paste is the opposite. It's for electronics. You'll find it in your computer, and it helps keep certain electronic components cool. So I thought...
Okay, wait. I was being very suggestible because I think the question totally primed me to go in a direction. Because he said, what if I was covered in it? So I was like, well, it must be something you cover yourself in.
Would I be cold? Would I be cold if I covered myself in thermal paste?
So maybe I didn't fully listen to the question is what happened.
Yeah. Not quite, but it's all right.
I learned a lot just now.
Anyway.
We all learned a lot. We learned a lot about ourselves. We learned a lot about this world that we all live in. We really learned.
I learned.
4 hours into this 100th episode, it's all you can hope for.
Take that, Dan Carlin. You're not the only one who can go for 4 hours.
Oh, I don't know how he does it now. I am dying. Okay.
He has good air conditioning, I think.
Must be. Great studio setup, not in LA when it's hot in the middle of September. Okay. So, because this was like electronics and PC building related, and I haven't been able to get a guest yet, I thought, all right, I'm going to ask somebody, personal friend that I know, okay? Personal friend of you two. She used to work for Revision 3. She has her own channel now. She reviews tech products. She's been building PCs for literal decades now.
I love her.
Shannon Morse.
She's the best.
So I emailed Shannon, and she responded and said that she was unavailable for an interview. So, Trace, I didn't get a single guest interview for the 100th episode.
Julian.
Not one. I was spurned by everybody. I'm sure Shannon's just very busy. She's very successful and doing well, and I'm happy for her, and she's great. Anyway, it should be a fairly short question, so I should be able to tackle it. Thermal paste, Sophie, like I mentioned, found in your PCs, helps keep, specifically you'll use it on your CPU, which is like your computer's brain, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you ever crack your computer open, you might notice that on top of your CPU, there's probably a great big finned metal heat sink. You ever take a look at one of them? One of them there heat sinks there?
No.
No?
You want to show me?
Never had an interest in... The PC's just magic. Just turn it on and it works, you know?
I listen, human bodies, let's talk about it all day long. Computers, I'm listening.
Meh. Okay, sure.
She's open. Sure. She wants to learn.
Open. So heard of them. Know about them. Never taken one apart myself.
So your CPU is the chip that's doing the processing for your computer, right? It's the brain, quote unquote, and the analogy to translate human organs to computer parts. It's the brain. It gets quite hot and it needs to be cooled to keep functioning. So PCs will cool them down with a variety of different types of coolers. You might have just a standard heat sink, which is basically like some copper pipes that go up to some metal fins that have a big surface area, so there's a lot of contact with the air. There might be a liquid cooler, which takes, again, another metal plate and presses it up against the CPU, and then you circulate water across this plate, and the water heats up and then gets carried away to a radiator and cools down. But the concept's always the same, right? Take heat from the CPU and get it out of there. Move it somewhere else. Now, the problem is, if you just clamp a heat sink or a water cooler straight onto your CPU, just metal to metal, at a microscopic level, they're not going to make very good contact. And that's where thermal paste comes in, right? Now, you just add a little dab of this gray goo. There's a lot of different types, actually. They might be different colors, but usually you'll see it's gray. Squeeze it on there.
The ones on Temu are pink. The ones on Temu are pink and blue and yellow. Remember that from 15 hours ago?
It's just rebottled toothpaste is what it is. You just crossed out tooth and wrote thermal.
A little bit right. I was a little bit right.
No, see what they did, Julian, is they wrote thermal on the end of the tooth, so it's two thermal paste.
Two thermal paste.
It's
we didn't
thermal.
lie. It's too thermal. You're gonna get too hot or too cold. I'm not sure which yet, depending on how the story goes. Too thermal.
So, for thermal paste to work, it has to be good at conducting heat. I am going to try and keep us on track, god damn it.
I'm going to say, I just want to hear Sophie say too thermal like 3 more times.
Too thermal! Too thermal! Too thermal!
Oh my gosh.
Julian, we
Julian's
need
gonna
to
lose
keep on
5
time.
pounds.
Die.
Julian, hey Julian, I'm getting a note from the producers, Trace and Julian. They love your work, but they do need you to keep it moving.
How dare you? Okay.
Perfect.
So thermal paste, if you put some on your CPU, you squish your heatsink on top of it, it'll take up that space that air normally takes up. So you think more thermal paste is a good thing, right?
Right.
You sound like Mark Wahlberg. So you think more thermal paste is a good thing?
Hey.
Oh, but you know what it is? You know what it is? It's too thermal.
I am losing my mind.
So you think it'd be a good thing? I would think that.
No, you don't want too much thermal paste.
Yay! Julian's on board!
Yeah, Julian.
Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. Thermal paste, in order for it to conduct heat well, a lot of them use metal mixed into the paste, which means it might be conductive. Again, it depends on the paste you're using. If you squish it down, between your CPU and heatsink and it spurts out onto other parts of your motherboard, it might cause a short when you actually turn your PC on if you don't clean it off. Or it might not be conductive if it's a different formula, but it might be capacitive and store a charge, and that'll throw off how the electronics work inside your PC. That's a couple good reasons, but there's another one, and that is even though it's good at conducting heat compared to air, it's not necessarily as good as the metals your CPU and your heatsink are made up of, right? So there's this property, thermal conductivity, that materials have. It's how good they are at conducting heat. It's measured in watts per meter Kelvin. So literally like how much energy over time it can transfer based on the size and the temperature. Air has a conductivity of 0.026 watts per meters Kelvin. So it's very low. It's why when it's in between your CPU and your heatsink, it doesn't transfer heat very effectively, and your CPU just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Water, 0.3. Copper, 302. Aluminum, 210. Thermal paste is just 8 to 18 watts per meters Kelvin, based on what I could find, according to the packages on Temu for their two thermal paste.
The pink one. Don't buy the pink one.
Don't buy the pink one.
Don't buy it.
It's better than air, but it's worse than copper that a lot of heat sinks use, right? And so the goal is to just get the air out of there, and that's it, not too much. And so there are famous videos of people building PCs, like how-to guides, and using way too much thermal paste, and the PC making community, which, as you might imagine, is very calm and respectful, utterly
so respectful,
dragging these people. Right? So one thing I wanted to look at was, okay, at 8 to 18 watts per meters Kelvin, is that like a better conductivity than human skin? And it turns out it is. Human skin, according to a couple studies I found, has a conductivity around 0.2 watts per meters Kelvin. So not super great. You might think, okay, if I put thermal paste on that, would that make it better?
Yeah.
And based on what I could find, no. For a few different reasons, right? Well, the thermal conductivity of the skin is still lower than the thermal paste. So it's not going to transfer heat faster into the thermal paste. You know, it's going to top out at the rate of the human skin and the air. But more importantly, what do we really use to cool ourselves down as humans?
Agua.
Our sweat.
Sweat. Thank you. I'm drenched in it right now in this room.
Yes, we talked about humidity. It's not the heat. It's the humidity that gets it.
It's the humidity. Why is it the humidity that makes heat feel so much worse?
Because when there's more water in the air, that means that less water can evaporate off of your skin, and so you can't cool off.
That's right. Exactly. So evaporative cooling is so effective because it takes a lot of energy to evaporate water. I looked up the latent heat of evaporation for 1 milliliter of water. It takes 2,256 joules.
That seems like more than I would want to have to make.
Because it has to break those hydrogen bonds we talked about in episode 100, part 1.
Oh!
See, I structured this, but I thought Trace wasn't going to have a million interviews with his best friends.
Well, I get to talk to my best friend every week, Julian.
Me? Oh.
No, Sophie. I talk to Sophie.
Oh, so you talk to Sophie once a week? That's super sweet. Happy for you.
It's so nice to have Julian on this podcast. I knew he was going to be.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Tagging along, third wheeling it out here.
Thanks for coming on our pod, Julian.
Jerks. Right. So it takes a lot of energy to break those bonds, and when that water molecule eventually has enough energy to break free and, join the other floating molecules in the air, it takes a lot of energy with it. The average energy left behind goes down. Temperature is the kinetic energy of molecules. Our temperature drops. So, Shane, would you be cold if you covered yourself in thermal paste? Probably not, because honestly, you're getting rid of your most effective way of cooling down, which is going to be evaporative cooling from sweat.
And so if you were to cover yourself in thermal paste, you wouldn't be able to sweat, and thus you would be... thermal!
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. Oh, that would be a really great thing to go out on, but...
But we can't. We have more.
We have one more question.
One more.
This is an insane endeavor. Trace, I hope you know.
How many have we done so far?
This is madness. What did I say in the internal meeting? I told you this was too many questions. I told you.
We did. We're doing it. We're here. We're at the end. We got the last one.
This is the 10th question by my count.
This is number 10. You're right.
This is the 10th.
The 10th. Wow. It's been so long. I didn't know how to count words.
Lost the ability to count.
Run of show. So let me just get right to the question asked by Jory. How large would I need to be for noticeable lag in real life?
Great question.
And I think maybe the question is, how hot do you need to be, and like how tired from doing 4 hours of podcasting in a row, or whatever is a lot. It's a lot.
He says, amount. Whatever this amount is. It's
whatever this is. This is how. Yeah. Playing catch with my kiddos, I use the excuse of lag in my reaction time due to our height difference for why I failed to catch the ball. How big would I need to be for that not have been a lie to my kid?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, same. I am not a gamer, but I know someone who games sometimes, and so I called her on the phone.
I am not a neurologist or like the world's most avid gamer, but I have thoughts I mostly play retro games.
She's wearing a Nintendo NES shirt.
Right. She met me before she went and streamed on Twitch. If you don't know who this voice is, this is Amy Shiratitle. She is the YouTube queen of the vintage space is her YouTube channel where she talks about space, of course, but also vintagey stuff. She does Twitch streaming of vintage video games, which she'll talk about in a minute. And I thought she knows about lag, right? Man, was I wrong.
I play a lot of Super Mario World fan games, and you get lag. That's a thing that happens because you get something called sprite overload, where like there's too many sprites.
Do you know what sprite overload is, Julian?
Yeah, it's when you drink too much of a sugary citrus flavored beverage.
And you,
Too many fairies. No, too many fairies is what I've been told.
That's cute. No, sprites are like little 2D images in old school games, right? Before they had like 3D graphics.
Right.
And if you ever watch any documentaries about how game developers had to like basically hack the hardware of old systems because like they were squeezing every little bit of power they could out of them, they're ingenious. They're so clever because it was so limited.
The one that sticks out to me is the music. And like you listen to these 8-bit music things, which I know Julian loves so much. Yep. And they would alternate who was playing the music so that they could fit twice as many notes and then like do it fast enough that you're like, oh, well, you didn't really notice that we were only playing half as many notes at any given time. But we did it quick enough that the illusion was the music was more than it actually is playing, which is they did that with graphics as well, which is even more complex.
Here's a fun classic video game fact. This might be considered sprite overlord, but you know, sprite overload.
Oh, that's me. I'm the sprite
overlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the game Space Invaders?
Yeah.
So what happens as you play Space Invaders and you shoot down the spaceships?
They get faster. And they go.
That was not part of the game design.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was just that there were so many little spaceships on screen that the hardware couldn't run through its cycles very quickly. And so it starts slow. But as you eliminate the spaceships, then the processing speeds up. And so the ship can move faster and faster and faster. And it was like this unintentional kind of revelation of video game design where you made something easy at first and harder as it goes on. So you had to get better at it to get
cool
all the way through the level.
That's really cool. So before we go back to Amy really quick, I want to talk a little bit about what lag is because there's some gamers out there that are getting really upset that we're talking about sprite overload before we're talking about what their experience probably has to do with, which is the more like internet-based.
Yes.
Technologically. So what Amy's about to mention is more of like a local lag. Like the computer itself is having trouble processing everything that it needs to process. But what most gamers, when they refer to lag, and what I think Jory is talking about is lag between you and a server and getting back to you. There is a delay. And that's literally what it is. Engineering wise, it's called latency. And I looked it up because I game sometimes, but I'm not a gamey person, especially not in the PC because I don't own one anymore. I switched to Apple and I never went back. And so even though I used to build my own computer, so I know a lot about it, I needed to catch up. So I went and read the British esports magazine to learn what they described lag as, and they described it as ping, latency, and then, of course, lag. Did you have a comment on that, Julian?
Yeah, just when you were building PC, what was your favorite brand of thermal paste?
Whatever they had at the CompUSA.
Okay. Felt like a layup, but all right, yeah, that's fine.
Shop local.
It's an AMD guy. I don't know. So I would buy the AMD.
Was it next to the mom and pop blimp shop, CompUSA?
It was at Frandor, in between the Panera Bread and the like hobby, like Michael's store.
Classic mom and pop shops we've all heard of. Small businesses all.
Near the Red Lobster and across the street from Medawar Jewelers, which is a mom and pop shop. So ping, speed of the command from the computer to the server, measured in milliseconds. We'll talk a little bit about that with Amy. Latency, which is data from computer to server. Again, talking a little bit about that with Amy. And then lag is a result of either high ping or high latency or both. And you've seen this locally, which is, again, what Amy's about to talk about. When you open up your phone And sometimes you open an app on your phone and it doesn't do anything. It's like a blank screen. Maybe it's white, maybe it's black, whatever. Maybe you can see stuff, but you tap on it and it doesn't do anything. You could call that lag. That is essentially similar to what we're about to talk about here with Amy. Your phone has to process a bunch of information, and rather than display stuff for you, it's busy thinking about what it's about to display.
Technologically, what exactly is happening, because I've never made one of these games myself. You have too many sprites coming in at the same time, and it lags your game, and you can like feel it and you can see it, and it's really weird to deal with. There's a creator by the name of Microwave Brother who made a level that uses lag deliberately as an obstacle in the game. There's like a fish generator that's putting too many fish on the screen, and it lags your game to the point where you don't know when your B press is going to turn into it. And I was like, cool. So when we think about that in like real world, I was like, well, if your brain is like the whatever processing bit of the console that is processing all of the information, and everything around you is a sprite, you would have the experience of lag in this completely not true scenario, to be very clear, in like the world's largest traffic jam. Because I was just thinking of like, if you're sitting there and all these cars are in front of you and you have to take in all of these pieces of information, it could give you an equivalent of lag. And I'm like, that, but we know that doesn't happen because you get the information and it goes immediately. So then I was like, so lag in real life.
The lag thing doesn't translate cleanly to biology because of exactly what you said with the traffic thing. It's like, there isn't a server that's like loading up traffic and your brain has to process it as it's loaded up. The traffic is just there and your brain is processing taking it all in.
And I know as part of this question, Jory had said that he was playing catch with his kids, or kid. When we're talking about like a real life example, that's still like the information reaching you. Yeah. But once you get it, you're not lagged. Ooh. And I feel like in this question, you're the one with the lag. Yeah. So then that got me into, and this is why I preface this with, I am also not a neurologist, because reaction time and like the electrical signal of your brain telling your hand to catch something. Right. Like it's obviously exceptionally fast. What I couldn't find an answer to is like, does that scale? I don't think that children have faster reaction times because they're smaller. I don't think that's how that works, because by that logic, I would have much faster reaction time than you because you're like a full foot taller than me.
Like she, I think makes Sophie look like a giant.
Wow.
So I started wondering like if it scales, and maybe it does scale, but you'd have to be like, I don't know, 200 feet tall or something before your nerve pathway between your brain and your hand is like actually making some kind of appreciable difference in how long it takes you to move, how fast your reaction time is. Yeah. And that's your nerves. That's your nerve, like, taking in a piece of information, processing it, and having the reaction happen of, like, you need to do something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
I really like how much Sophie is nodding and being like, brains, I'm thinking,
neurons. Gray matter.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I mean, it also is like we have to get into what's the definition of time a little bit, right? Because if we're talking infinitesimally small from our perspective, the electrical signal does travel. It takes time to travel, but it is so small to our understanding and our frame of reference, and that's why it does seem instantaneous to us. Yeah.
Did you look up the speed a signal travels through nerves? Because I remember it being something like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's like 50 to 70 meters per second. I just put a thing in the chat.
That's crazy.
I want you to open it. This is a reaction time test. I want you to tell me what your reaction time is. It's going to be red, and then it will turn green, and when it turns green, you got to click on it. And then tell me what your number is. And I bet you Julian's is pretty good because he's a goalie.
Oh,
256. Okay. I don't think that's that good.
That's actually pretty good. I think that's average. I did several times before this, and I got into the 250 a few times, but mostly in the 300s.
228. 235.
Wow. See, so you're very fast. I would say that's pretty fast.
Oh, 254.
Woo! Whoa!
Although I did this with some friends at one of those science museums in Anaheim, and he dumpstered me. He was in like the 180s.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Dan, the quickest friend I have, apparently.
The quickest friend I have. Now that's the best man speech thing. So in 1968, an IBM researcher named Robert Miller wrote response time in man-computer conversation transactions. And they wanted to know how fast the computer should be replying when you're using a computer, because computers were fairly new in the 60s. But they needed to know, like, okay, if the computer responds after a couple of seconds, is that going to break the interaction between the person and the terminal? And so what they found out is 1 second or less is fast enough for users to feel like they're interacting freely with the information. 2 seconds breaks a psychological flow. Greater than 10, you lose most people's attention. 100 milliseconds or less is considered instantaneous. We cannot tell at 100 milliseconds. The average person cannot tell. Of course, a professional gamer would tell you, oh, they can tell the difference between 50 and 100 milliseconds. Whether they can or not, nobody lives in their brain but them. But the brain processes things, and the perception delay is about 200 milliseconds. Like, that's actually pretty normal. Okay, so 200 to 300 milliseconds, totally normal. That's why when you were clicking, you were getting, like, those numbers. And I can break it down a little bit for you. So like a kiddo throws a Frisbee or whatever, the delay between your brain receiving visual information about the ball and sending signals to the muscles to react is nerve signals from the eyes to the brain, processing time inside of the brain, and then nerve signals from the brain out to the arms and the hands. And the eye to the brain is basically instantaneous. Remember, Robert Miller found 100 milliseconds is considered instantaneous. Do you know how fast the eyes can tell the brain what's happening? Like, they can recognize that something is going on. It's so fast.
0.001 milliseconds.
It's 13.
Oh, 13 milliseconds?
13 milliseconds.
Okay.
Really, really, really fast. Not 0.001.
No, I was way underselling it. Don't you hate when you're like, guess how much I got this for? And then somebody like says a way lower number and it just completely deflates you. Oh. I got this on sale. Guess how much? I don't know, $2. No, it was 25.
No, it was 50. Shit.
It was 50, but it's still pretty good.
Nothing worse than that. Okay, right. No, 13 milliseconds. Still fast.
Still fast. The eyes send it to the brain in 13 milliseconds. It's basically instantaneous. The brain processes subconsciously probably up to 70 milliseconds and then sends that to the conscious mind, where it can take another 75 to 150 to continue to process it and then react to what you need to react to. And then over the trailing 15 seconds, which we'll come back to in a second, the brain smooths out what has happened in your perception, and you end up kind of living your life. But you've already grabbed the ball, or in Jory's case, unfortunately for him, missed it. Amy is totally right that you really do have to think about nerve conduction. So it's 50 to 70 meters per second along a nerve. Some really big animals have like essentially a single neuron that will run for the length of their body, or like almost all of it, so that they can move things even more quickly. But generally speaking, if you were something like, as Amy said, like 200 feet tall, which is like very tall, like a ridiculous amount of height.
2 blue whales, like
multiple blue whales tall, that you would have a delay. You literally would. There is a paper, the study of the proceedings of the Royal Society B in 2018. The paper is titled Scaling of Sensory Motor Delays in Terrestrial Animals. Because we wanted to know, does it scale? And they found large mammals experience total delays 17 times longer than small mammals. That's a lot.
That's cool.
That's a lot. That makes sense. Like a lot longer. Because they have to get it from one place to the other and then process it and then get it back to that spot.
Think about an elephant versus a mouse.
Yeah, and the mouse is like going like, whoo, 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 whoo. And the elephant's like, hey, yeah.
Well, no, the elephant's like, mouse.
Oh, right, yeah. Jumps on top of a ball, as we've learned from 1960s cartoons.
There's a Mythbusters where they reveal a mouse and the elephant's like, whoa, what the heck is that thing? You know, like they have like a little mouse under a coconut or something. And they pull it aside. And
Did you call Carrie to ask her?
I did not. I'm not buddies, but I suspect she wouldn't return my emails after this episode.
I did look for, I love that you mentioned blue whale. Again, love your brain. Bingo.
Thanks, bud.
Blue whales I wanted somebody to poke them with a stick. I honestly wanted somebody to be like, I poked this blue whale with a stick in the tail to see how long it would take. Because according to Bradley Wojtek's 2013 post on Nature's Brain Metrics blog, it could be between a third of a second up to 6 seconds.
6 seconds?
To have perception consciously, assuming, again, you have consciousness in a whale, you know, you don't know. But like for them to react to you poking them, which is pretty wild.
That's a long time.
Right. Do you know why this does not matter?
Because you can't get close enough to a blue whale. Anyway.
Me personally, true. Yes.
Because there are glass frogs. They're in Central America, and they do jump.
Because they have a brain in their butt, and they can feel it there. It's faster.
Interesting. So I'm going to try and lead you down the path, right? So let's say you are a very small mammal and you have a very small brain and you have very short pathways to and from all of your limbs. Do you need to know necessarily where something is going to be? Or do you just need to know where it is? You're a cat that hunts, said Mouse. Do you need to know where something is going to be or just where it is?
I see where you're going.
Where it's
I see where you're going to be.
Gonna be. Yeah, me too. Totally.
Yeah, totally. So this study, what they basically found is that the bigger the animal is, the longer it takes for it to react to a stimuli. However, they tend to have larger processors. So even though it takes a little longer, they can predict where something's going to be and they react before. So do you react to catching a ball when you see the ball, or do you react even before you've known that you've seen it? Like you've already started to move your arm in the direction that it needs to be. Like you're not consciously catching hockey pucks, and maybe in your case, Julian, not catching them at all.
I'm usually unconscious when I'm playing hockey, yeah. Taking a lot of pucks to the dome over the years.
But would you say as a goalie, which I think is the perfect analogy for this, because in sports, that is one of the fastest sports with one of the fastest reaction times in sports, and you have to catch something before you even have acknowledged it's moved.
Well, so it's interesting you say that. There is a sports science video about this, the difference between reflexes versus reactions.
Yeah.
Right? And reactions originate in the brain, but a reflex is like something that you've done so many times that there's basically a shortcut in your spinal cord. And so it doesn't take as long for the signal to travel. So when you play hockey long enough, it's a reflex. And a lot of the times when I'm playing, you know, sometimes somebody will shoot a puck and I will unconsciously like move my glove into position, catch it, and then after it's hit, when I feel like the torque on my arm from the puck, I'm like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
And I'll look at it. And then if you're a really good hockey goalie, what you have to do is what's known as the windmill, where you catch it and then you go, and you arc your arm around. And it looks cool in real time and in slow motion when they play it back on like hockey broadcasts, and you can see like the puck hit and then there's like a 1,000, 2,000, and then the windmill motion comes in slow-mo. You're like, oh, cool. That's actually him just kind of cheating and making it look all dramatic post hoc.
But he's already caught it.
He'd already caught it like a few milliseconds ago. It looks really silly. Hold on, let me see if I can find an example
behind the curtain here of how hockey works. So while he looks that up, Sophie, have you ever had what I have always called in my life a ninja moment, where like something happened and you caught it?
Oh, yeah.
Because for me, I was walking to class in college and I had, because it was the early 2000s, a crossbody bag that was Velcro. And it came unvelcroed and I caught it through that top loop in the backpack behind my back. I was walking and I just went whoosh, and I caught it. I stopped walking and I remember it to this day. And I was just like, did anybody, like in my head, I'm just like, did anybody see that just happen? Because that was insane. And there was no one around because I was consistently late for class. And so everybody was already in class doing work.
Dang
and I was catching my bag. And it turns out that moment came back and it's fine. I learned what I needed to learn to make this podcast today. What about you, Sophie? Did you have a ninja moment?
Well, not one that sticks out in that same sort of glorious way. I think like the other day I caught something that I didn't expect to catch. And I actually have like a bit with my husband where he'll throw something and I will purposefully not catch it. And that's the bit. Is that I'll be like, yeah, and I'll just miss it. And it's and I'm like, did I do it? So a couple days ago I did that bit, but then I actually caught it and I was disappointed a little in myself because I didn't do the bit.
That's great. That's the most artist thing I've ever heard.
My wife unironically does the Michael Cera Arrested Development thing where if you toss anything at her, she'll just like turn her back to like protect herself and it just like hits off her back. Like she has so little confidence in her ability to catch a moving object that she's just like, nope, protect myself.
That's great.
And that's also a reflex.
Okay, look at the video of the New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin doing a excessive windmill.
They caught it, and he's doing his windmill. Good job, professional hockey entertainer.
Igor.
Yet another shit in the professional athletes are really the exact same as entertainers. They have the same job.
Yeah,
Truly.
true.
Truly. Also, he's doing a split, it looks like, which is incredibly
He's really
impressive.
going all out.
I
Good
can't
for
do
him.
that either.
Good for him. So, to answer the final question of our 100th episode, how large would I need to be for noticeable lag in real life? Well, more than 50 to 70 meters to actually have physical lag. However, chances are your brain has already processed and is predicting where things are going to be. And so the better you get at that, the more you're going to catch that ball. So just keep playing catch with your kid, Jory. Just keep playing catch with your kid. And eventually your kid's going to throw it and you're just going to be like, whoosh, and then you can do a windmill and you can look really cool in slow motion.
And do a split.
Please don't hurt yourself, listeners. Please do not attempt the splits.
Work on your splits.
As we say at the end of every episode.
Work on your splits.
Work on your split.
Work on your splits. Wow. Did we do it, guys? Did we do it?
We did it.
Think we've done it.
You know what?
I
We
think
didn't.
We've
We didn't do it.
completed 100 episodes. We haven't done it?
No, we haven't done it. My timer for 1 minute and 40 seconds starts now.
Episode 66. Oops, all the drugs. AI chefs and unqualified sled dogs. Where'd you get the coconut? The replicator? Rounding up 1 + 1. Outweigh, outshine, outlast. Red sky at night, Batman's delight. Honey, I shrunk the oh, blah, blah, blah. My broccoli dog ate my English homework. Headaches really hurt. I'm sorry. Terminal thoughts. Forever in a hair. Going full Goron on the Himalayas. Belting fly brains and melting gold with rain. Whew. Internally screaming until leap year. Okay, this is a rerun. Rump shaking dyslexic shrimp. Okay, I flick my space boogers at you. The sun, probably. Episode 81. America's gone.
1 minute.
Half the population gone. My keys, Chatty planties under twin suns. Massacring mosquitoes with a billion bananas. An episode specifically for Hanukkah. Oh, nope, that said Hannah.
No, Hannah. For Hannah.
Kiss a boo-boo and a drug a dog. Live show, tunnels with allergic plants and blinding fireflies. How a color could make you faster and a humidifier could make your house bigger. Soaring to the sweater
40 seconds.
powered ozone layer with our pinkies out. Dinosaurs. H2O my. Sharks. Keeping abreast of our wild dreams. Trying to explain left to aliens on our bitty earth. Reverse muscle cat prisoners. Sucking blueberries to space till you're blue in the face. Tanks versus dragons. This man built a fart gun. Seriously. The giant moon makes your bones float. Zooming in on nano paintings. They're a big deal. Did minions evolve in saliva pools? And 100th episode, Absurd Thunder Road.
Woo! 10 seconds remaining. Anything you want to say?
Then also part 2, and I'm just so happy. Thank you so much to the Academy for being here. Thank you so much for everything. And you know what?
We're taking away money from the Boys and Girls Club. That joke
Oh
will not age
no!
well.
Go Birds! Free Palestine!
Yay!
Wow, we did it. We're at the end of the episode. We did it, everybody. It's been 1,000,000 years. And the diamond is going to go to the bottom of the ocean, and that's fine.
This was a marathon. I don't want to do this again for at least another 100 episodes. This was insane.
Well, I've got news for you. We're doing it again!
At episode 200, right?
Yeah. episode
Maybe we'll
200.
just do like 6 next time.
10.
This was like a 4-hour-long combined episode. This was insane. Our poor editors. Poor Sophie. Sophie got dragged into this.
I'm thrilled I could help keep things move along. And
yes.
I'm glad I could be here to really keep you on track. Make sure I was
communicating. How dare you?
It was great. That's perfect. Pitch perfect. Thank you. This episode and every episode of the last 100 episodes of this incredible show, That's Absurd, Please Elaborate, was created, written, and produced by Julian Huguet.
And by Trace Dominguez.
And of course, I think like this episode, but like 3 other episodes?
Yeah.
By Sophie Schrand.
Hey.
1/25th of our run.
Yeah. Where can people find you, Sophie, if they want to find you more?
Well, you can find me on all the socials at Science with Sophie, where I don't think you can post a 4-hour video on Instagram. Not yet. We keep it short. You can also go to sciencewithsophie.com to find more episodes of my show, which, again, not 4 hours long. And Cool Jacket Productions is my production company, so you can go there too. See what else we're doing.
Today's show was also produced and edited by our 100th wonderful 100th Kyle Sisk. I didn't know how to make that a thing. My brain is tired. I'm trying my best.
You know what? His brain is never tired. Kyle
Never,
Sisk.
ever tired. A man who experiences things in real time. Kyle Sisk.
Kyle Sisk.
Man who's living more in the present than any other human being.
Additional editing help from Sam Grant.
This show was associate produced by Sabrina Capello. Music is thanks to Epidemic Sound, and our intern is Charlie Woodbury.
Questions for this episode were submitted by Saff, Ellen, Yusuke, Shane, and Jory. Thank you so much for submitting. Normally we ask for more, but oh boy, we had a lot of questions and we have plenty. So if you want to submit one, there's the form in our show notes. I think you all have the hang of it. So thank you for that. Keep them coming. I'm going to need a little break.
Special, very, 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 very special thanks to all of our patrons. The ones who voted on the questions that we covered over the last 4 hours, but also just the patrons who support the show. There are so many of you. Not every one of the patrons participates in all the votes, but we appreciate every single one of our patrons. As Julian mentioned in the first half of our episode, we have 95 patrons, and we are so close to 100. I would love it if we hit 100 by the time this episode actually airs in mid-October. We're recording this now in mid-September, so we're really excited to hit that 100 mark. Maybe we'll have to do something fun. If you have suggestions, let us know. And thank you to our absurd administrators, Adam Les Austin, Jonathan, Evan, Dan, Sabrina the Brain, Hannah, and Pinky. We really appreciate all of you so much. Because of you, we get to do things like go to Smith College to do a live show, go to the Bay Area Science Festival in San Francisco, October 25th, and do a show. Go get tickets. I think they're free. And you can come and see us at 11 in the morning during the Bay Area Science Festival.
Doing an episode where we have to be under 45 minutes.
We absolutely have to be under 45 minutes.
Sophie will be there, cracking the whip.
She's going to make sure that we can't invite her because we would never hit the time then.
What? I'm fired already?
Thank you very much, patrons. Seriously, we started the show 100 episodes ago and we thought, this will be silly and maybe it'll be easy and fun and we can do some. And it turns out that all these people love it and it's just, we love it too. So thank you.
Oh, gotta throw in a thanks also to Laura, new Patreon subscriber at the ridiculous researcher level. I didn't have you on the last episode, so I'm getting you now. Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. Leave a review wherever you're listening now, please. Review, maybe not the 100th episodes, just generally, but like the show. Just let everybody know the vibes are good and it's worth their time. But let's get out of here, everyone. This has been a lot. So, like we say at the end of every single episode of our show,
hit it!
I can't stop the way I feel.
That's good.
The cells you grow don't seem real. The clock is ticking, baby.
Sheesh.
Tell me what you've got in mind. 'Cause this pig's running out of lab time. Treat them right and they'll grow high. And when they're ready, we will dine.
It grows human meat.
Oh, oh.
It's technically someone else.
Oh, oh.
It grows human meat, and I can't eat it myself. Because I'm a frog. Get it?
Oh, Kirby.
I like that Julian has no part in this.
That's my favorite part of this song, if I'm honest. I'm so glad I was written out of it.
It's so nice of you to come on the pod. Thanks so much, Julian.
Yeah. Glad.
Anywhere people can find you if they want to know more about you?
Sometimes I host a podcast called That's Absurd, Please Elaborate, but I get the feeling I'm being edged out.
I love that podcast. They just did 100 episodes.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I think I was there for it, but I slowly became delirious, so I'm not totally sure. Okay.
Just gonna stop it now. Just gonna stop it. I think it's time.